Hello, my name is Terrence Bryant, and I'm here today to talk to you all about the importance of voting. Now, voting can affect everything from your right to drive, your right to have an abortion, even down to your right to drink. When you can drink, what days liquors are sold on, all of these things are affected by the people in the legislature who decide these things on a daily basis. The election of 2008 was a pivotal time in American politics. It was the time that the first woman had become close to obtaining the nomination for president. It was also the year that the first African American was elected to the office of President of the United States. And according to Andy Barr of Politico.com, more than 130 million voters turned out for that election. Without those voters, the election outcome could have been drastically different. So this fact, along with others that we'll go over, demonstrates to you all why it's important for you to exercise your right to vote. Voting should be viewed as not so much as a right as it should be viewed as a responsibility of yours as an American citizen. We'll first explore the American rights that are impacted by legislatures. These are the individuals who are in elected offices who decide how we'll live our daily lives. And also we'll understand that many Americans do not even have the opportunity to go out and vote and why. And finally, we'll review some alternative options to just not going to vote if you're not available or if you don't feel like it, or even if you are later in your life struck with a disability or something that keeps you in home and not able to go out to the polls to vote. It's important to understand that all individuals in legislative offices are elected by us as citizens. Because they're elected, there's a trickle-down effect that is created by the people that we put in office. An important law that's currently pending is what we term Obamacare. According to Aziz Hug of NPR, the act is actually pending Supreme Court review due to legislative differences between the parties over certain aspects of the law. So I say this to say that the people that we elect and put in office reflect our views. They reflect how we feel about certain laws. They reflect how we feel about certain things that go on in the government. So right now, you have the Democrats and you have the Republicans who are clashing about the law. It's important that you have someone in the legislature who reflects your views, whether you agree with the law or you disagree with the law. It is important that your voice is heard. And one way that your voice can be heard on Capitol Hill is by you electing individuals who can voice those concerns and voice your opinions. There are a number of things we can do as citizens to impact the legislature and policies that can potentially impact our daily lives. So while voting along party lines may seem the logical thing to do, if you're a registered Democrat, you vote Democratic. If you're a registered Republican, you vote Republican. But it's important to also view the underlying issues. Not so much voting along party lines, but you should also do your homework. Make sure that the person that you elect represents all of your views, whether that be women's rights, whether that be gay rights, family rights, if you're a conservative or if you're a liberal, it's important to make sure that you elect someone that's also the same way. Beyond just the legislative impact, the right to vote is one that's actually not universal. Believe it or not, there are millions of individuals who cannot vote here in the United States. According to Pearl Cohen of the Huffington Post, there are actually 80 million individuals who are disenfranchised, which is legally not able to vote, or just chose not to go out and vote in the previous election. This impacts us not only because of the outcomes of laws, but it also has a disparate impact on presidential elections. The presidential elections affect everything from federal law to international law. So it's important to understand that not voting can have an impact on not just a national scale, but also on a global scale. And also the votes of minorities are more important than ever. So if you are a minority, your vote now really counts more than ever. According to a report by Bern Dubsman of Reuters, Latinos have actually now become the fastest growing of American electorates. So in a few years, it will be Latinos and minorities that will make up one of the largest percentages of voters in the American electorate. So it's important to understand that if you are a minority, your vote counts now more than ever. And actually in 2008, according to the New York Times, it was the surge in black voters that caused the sway in the election. So it's important to understand that you do have an impact and that your vote does count. Now that we have an understanding of both why your vote counts and the impact, we'll talk about voter registration. Here in the state of Georgia, it's relatively simple to get registered to vote. You can do it when you're renewing your license. You also, if you're not able to do it then, you can also, according to the Georgia Secretary of State website, you can register by mail, simply filling out a form, mailing it in. You also can register by email, or worst case scenario, you can do it a few days prior to the election. You'll want to make sure that you give yourself at least about 30 days in case of any issues prior to the election. So now with the advance in technology, registering to vote has become easier than ever before. If for whatever reason you're not able to vote in an actual election booth, or if you know you'll be out of town or something where you can't go to the poll, you can actually do what's called fill out absentee ballot. An absentee ballot can be mailed into your local state office, and the ballots can actually be requested prior to election day so that you can make sure that your vote counts. So to conclude, with the current state of our country, electing officials who represent the interests of our children in the future has become more important than ever before. Understanding your right and your need to vote in the lives of how it impacts the lives of yourselves as well as your children is important. Issues such as transportation, education, and even things as simple as free lunch are all decided by elected officials. To sum up, hopefully now you have an understanding of why it is important to vote and what to do if you're not in town on election day. So if you have any questions, I will refer you to the Georgia Secretary of State website for further information on how to vote in the state of Georgia. Thanks.